Welcome to Day.Sports, place where the average punter can get their 2 cents worth. It has been a somewhat disappointing week and round in rugby league. A lot of news coming out as well, and just a whole lot going on in the sporting world. So I ended up 5 for 8 for round 22. Before we get into some accountability and a little quick recap of round 22 as well, make sure you do like this video. Subscribe if you're not already as well. It helps a lot with all the support. Make sure you go give the socials a follow as well. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all those places, all the links below as well. Really trying to grow Day.Sports at the moment, aiming for 500 subscribers by the end of the season. We'll be posting plenty of stuff after that as well, but yeah, that would definitely help. So jumping straight into the little recap for round 22. So like I said, 5 for 8, so not the worst, not the best. There was a few upsets though that nobody would have picked, so you can't be too mad at that. And a certain team of mine sinking me again, but we'll get into that a little bit later on as well. So up first, Cowboys, they beat the Tigers 48-30. There were different stages where I thought they were going to absolutely run away with it, but I think that ended up being a lot closer than it probably should have been. As a Cowboys fan, you got the 2 point sweep, but should you be a little bit worried about their defense? Because, if Tigers are putting 30 on you, it's going to be nasty to see what some other teams can do as well. But it was pretty entertaining watch. Justin Oldham, he got sent off for trying to take someone's head off. Standard Tigers thing, pretty much, to get someone sin binned or sent off the field as well. But they really put it on with him off the field as well. They're down to 12 men, and they're just like, yeah, sweet. Started throwing the ball around. Buller, he just teared them up as well. Yeah, they nearly caught them there. So Cows got it done, and we got the tick for that one. Eels, this one could have really gone either way, but Eels, they beat the Warriors 30-20. Warriors, I think they scored like 3 tries in the last 10 minutes or so, just left it way too late for a run and pretty much cost them any hope in the rest of the season as well, to be honest. But Eels, they had lost that many games. They were just eventually going to jag one. It's just one of those things. Teams can only lose for so long, 5, 6 games. They're just eventually going to get one. It could be against a much better team. It just happens. So yeah, lost out on that one. Roosters, they beat the Dolphins 40-34. That one, another tick there, but that could have been anyone's game. That was a real tug of war. Obviously, very high scoring. There was a period there the Dolphins almost looked like they were going to run away with it for a little bit there. The next one, extremely disappointed, but Titans, they give the Broncos a touch up 46-18. Yeah, as a Broncos supporter, super disappointed. Just did not go our way at all. Weren't playing like we had anything to lose as well, which, whole kind of any chance of getting into the finals on the line. So pretty much that's done for the Broncos this season. Titans, they are on fire. I was always worried about this game, to be completely honest. They just have such a good record against us. Did not expect it to go that way. I saw something like a 18-16 game maybe, but no. Yeah, Jojo Fafita, he played out of his skin. Keanu Keeney, did he have a game and a half? He absolutely just tore us to pieces. And then on top of that, 2 season-ending injuries that we got as well. So we got Payne Haas, he's gone for the significant future with the Liz Frank fracture in his foot, and then Ezra Mam with syndesmosis. So both of them gone for the rest of the season, like I was saying. So yeah, way to kick us while we're down, but yeah, it was just a rough one, that one. And then this one surprised everyone, I guess. Yeah, Storm getting beaten down at Amy Park 18-16. Flano, he had an absolute ambush and a half on them. Didn't get to actually watch that one, but sounds like Dragons played out of their skin. Sharks, they beat the Rabbitohs 20-6. Yeah, Sharks get the win. They did enough, I guess, against the Rabbitohs. Well, I wouldn't say it's very convincing, but win's a win. Penrith, they beat the Knights 22-14. A lot closer than I would have expected with this one, but again, Cleary gets it done, scores the winning try essentially, and yeah, still working things out, I guess, Penrith, but yeah, more than enough to get it done. And the Doggies, they get it done 22-18 at a sold out game. And geez, some of the footage after that game out of the streets and all that with the fans is insane. And Stephen Crichton, he's that guy. He is a freak, and I'll talk a little bit more about the Doggies later on, but yeah, another one we got right there as well. So, like I said, some massive news in the rugby league world as well as, I guess, sport in general. They did announce a few of the Hall of Fame, I guess, inductees at this stage. One of them notably being Wayne Bennett's getting inducted, so I think it's the first time that coaches are going into it. I will chat about that at another date, but at this stage, yeah, pretty cool that that's all coming up as well. But yesterday, Shaun Johnson, he announced his retirement, which is massive. He has been such a mainstay in rugby league for the last, 10 plus years. who didn't grow up at some stage, well, I guess depending on your age, looking at his highlights, whether it be rugby league, originally way back in like touch footy highlights and stuff like that, filmed on someone's potato, essentially, just lighting people's ankles up and throwing cutout balls, all sorts of stuff. He has just, yeah, been a massive part of rugby league, and particularly, obviously, for the Warriors and in New Zealand as well. He just inspired an entire generation, if not multiple generations of players, wanting to be like Shaun Johnson or play rugby league because of Shaun Johnson. Obviously, came and did his things over at the Sharks as well for a period of time there, but he's just been such a mainstay in that Warriors team. Obviously a massive part of last year as well, like a bee's dick from getting the Dally M. I would have loved to. It was shattering watching that and him not getting that. It would have been really nice for him to get that and kind of go out, with that type of season and on that kind of high. So I'm sure he's going to be missed massively for the Warriors as well. But I think as well, it sounds from everything that I've heard and everything I've listened to with him speaking about it, it's kind of that time he's getting on in his life. Obviously, rugby league being such a brutal, tough sport, his body probably just not keeping up with it. Maybe the way that it used to. I'm sure he could keep going if he wanted. I believe he got offered a contract. I'm sure he could have kept going for probably another year or two, or for however long he would have liked. But yeah, I guess it's just his time. So it is sad to see him go. Sad to see that they didn't have quite the season that they had last year. And that his last season's been played with injury. But I'm sure he's going to go out on a high and put in absolutely everything over the next couple of weeks. And I'm sure the Warriors as well, they're going to absolutely turn up for him. So yeah, that is a massive one. But yeah, Shawnee Johnson, straight in my fantasy team. You're going out on a high, son. So no, it is good to see. And yeah, no, he'll be missed across the community of rugby league, that's for sure. So next thing as well, obviously the Olympics has been going on for the last couple of weeks. Aussies have been cleaning up in the pool. We are aquatic creatures. We do love to get things done in the pool, but I think that might have kind of ended our streak. I can't say I've been watching a whole lot of it, but there is one athlete that I would like to shout out slash talk about in general though, and that is a men's triathlete. He goes by the name of Matthew Hauser. He comes seventh the other day, so that's the highest that any Aussie has got individually since I think it was 2004 at Athens. So massive achievement for him. So reason that I'd like to talk about him is because I'm pretty sure I've beaten an Olympian at some stage. So I've known Matt since I was about, I don't know, grade 2 or something like that. Went to school with him forever. Obviously he's a long distance runner. He's a triathlete, but I'd like to say I dusted him probably in either 100 or 200 meters at some stage. So there's the claim to fame, but similar to what I was talking about last week, though, with Broncos and the work ethic and the talent and everything like that. He is just somebody that from a young age, he just knew he was going to make the Olympics. He was that good. But he also had so much talent and worked so hard. So it's so good to see him, not quite snag a medal at this stage, but seventh is an amazing achievement. That's his second Olympics now. So, yeah, unreal effort. I think their mixed relay team came, I'd like to say 13th or something like that. So still an amazing effort as well. So yeah, good on you, Matt, with everything that you've been doing as well. Yeah, I'd love to have a chat at some stage. Actually, that'd be fun. But yeah, pretty cool stuff there as well. So next thing as well, Broncos. Yeah, need to talk about my Broncos there for a little bit. So our season's all but over essentially at this stage. I think mathematically it is impossible for us to play finals football, and it is such a fall from grace, honestly. It gives me flashbacks to the 2022 season. That one, weirdly enough, I don't know if that hurt more than this one. It's kind of hard to tell. So for those of you who weren't around in 2022, I'd like a quick little recap. So Broncos, I think I don't know, about June, August, they were in fourth, I'd like to say. We were well within the eight. I remember because I was sitting at Splendor, my campsite flooded. We're all sitting around some shitty little plastic table and we're watching like footy on like three people's phones and there was a Para fan there. And we were just giving it to him after we pumped him. I think he went to bed at half time. It was just that big of a touch up. After that, though, we had a quick fall off, and it was rough. And sure enough, Parramatta go on to play in the grand final that year as well. So that was a bit of karma getting us there. But yeah, we fell out of the eight when we definitely should have been playing finals that year. So obviously, last year, 2023, going all the way through to the grand final, just looking untouchable. Pretty much had that game won, and yeah, obviously it all didn't work out, but myself and pretty much every other person, thought that the Broncos were just going to get on with this year. be true title contenders, if not go through and get the whole damn thing done after last year. You'd think that'd be even more fired up, but it has not played out like that at all. We've just looked like a shell of the team that played last year. And, fuck, if you could tell the Broncos players and team and management and everything exactly what the problem is, I'm sure they'd love to hear it because I think everyone's trying to figure out the same thing. There's blame kind of being pointed in all sorts of directions, whether it's the staff, whether it's Kevy, whether it's the players, if they're connecting, whatever the hell it might be. Kevin said in an interview after the game last week, they got a lot more to worry about than missing the top eight, and it's pretty evident at this stage. And it just sucks to see. The talent that we have on that roster is insane. Sure, been a lot of injuries, haven't played a whole lot as a team compared to previous seasons, but there's not really any excuses. And even in the Titans game, Payne Haas going down, massive out. Obviously, he's pretty much the best forward in the comp. And then Ezra Mam as well, early into the second half or into the first half, whatever it might have been. But even then, I don't think that's an excuse for losing that game or the way that they turned up in that game against the Titans. So it is pretty rough, and I think Warriors fans are essentially in the same place as well. Making top four and not even making finals the year after having just such an amazing year. It is a bit of a doozy, that one. So yeah, it's a little bit bittersweet. But yeah, hopefully the boys can turn up at least for the last couple of games, go on a bit of a winning streak, at least try to end on a high. And yeah, because it's what they've won one out of their last 7 or 8 at this stage. I've lost track of it, honestly. It's just been that rough, but yeah, it is a little bit hard to figure out what's going on with them. But yeah, the drive just doesn't seem to be there, especially obviously in a defensive way. And it makes you wonder as well, just about, you know, is it a good thing that a lot of the coaching staff are moving on next year? Is it anything to do with them? Is it the players? What's going on with it all? But give that one a big miss. But yeah, no, hopefully we can end the rest of the season high and come into 2025 absolutely firing. Some of the outs, though, really starts to. A lot of people really kind of swept under the rug a few of the players that we lost. So your Herbies, your Fleglers, your Capewell, all that. A lot of them being rep players. Herbie, he'd be playing rep footy if he had the opportunity to. Obviously, Pommy has, so that's just not going to be happening. But yeah, that experience that those guys brought into that team in those positions, I think, might have really held that team together a lot. And you had a lot of very defensive-minded players in there as well. You got Capewell. Herbie is an absolute gun. Like, yeah, it's a bit different, but they got things to work on, and yeah, I'm sure they'll be able to pull it together. If we have a repeat, that's when things might be in serious trouble, and we might see some heads roll. But until then, I think we just need to stick to it. Reynolds, he's got one more year in him. I think if we can keep him fit. The only thing is, we just need to find a replacement at this stage. Because yeah, the guys coming through, they're too young at this stage. No one's going to be a Reynolds with that kind of experience, so makes it a little bit hard, and we'll need to change kind of the whole way that we play. But yeah, it is what it is. So anyway, let's jump into round 23 tips and predictions here. So we've got on Thursday night, we got Rabbitohs versus Storm. The Rabbitohs are $5.10 underdogs against Storm, paying $1.17. I'm going to go Storm 13 plus on this. After they lost to the Dragons last week, they are going to be whipped into shape by a bellyache. He's going to have them firing. I wouldn't say any particular massive ins or outs for either of these teams. I think Eli Katoa, he's out with a knee injury, but outside of that, it should be a reasonable walk in the park for the Storm. The Rabbitohs, they do keep Cody Walker. He was in some doubt after him being out last week, but it should be a pretty cruisy run for the Storm, I'd say. They've got talent all across the park. There's not really anywhere I think they're going to be worried by the Rabbitohs. Yeah, I think it might be a rough one. The Storm as well, they touched them up earlier this year, essentially ending their season 54-20. Bunnies did beat them prior to that, but yeah, Storm are 4 in the last 5, while Rabbitohs only 2 in their last 5. Yeah, at this point, they're just making sure they stay off the bottom of the table, the Rabbitohs, but Storm, it'll be interesting to see how they go. I think, like I said last week, I think they're still trying to work a few things out with Munster coming back and the combinations, the chemistry in that team. But yeah, it should be happy days for them. I'm going to go with Grant Anderson to get over as well. He just in a try scorer mood at the moment. So yeah, I'm going to be backing him to score any time Next game, we got Titans versus the Sharks. I like this one a lot. We've got Titans. They are sitting at 11th, and they're $1.53 favourites over the Sharks in 4th. They're paying $2.51, and Sharks, they're honestly just hanging in there by a thread, I think, at this stage. Titans, they beat them in their last run in earlier this season as well. That was down at Shark Park, and I love this being at home for them in the Gold Coast, and I'm going to be backing the Titans as well. I'm going to go 1 to 12. I'm almost tempted to go 13 plus, so I'm going to go 1 to 12 over the Sharks. I really think they can get it done. Yeah, they are just on fire at the moment. They are really in great form. They've won 4 out of their last 5. Meanwhile, Sharks, they've won 2 in their last 5, but they have not looked very convincing whatsoever. And they're up against a hot to trot Titans team. Kanakini, Cam Pereira, Jojo Fafita, Campbell, Foreign, all those guys link up and the big boys in the middle get their work done as well. It is going to be a tough run for the Sharks. I think they're really going to struggle against the attacking power of Titans, and they've just been turning up for each other week in, week out, and just growing it more and more in confidence. And I love to see a Queensland team going well because mine, unfortunately, not so great, and I don't love the Cowboys a whole lot either. So, Titans, I'm going to be backing you boys. I hope you can get it all the way through to the finals. They could actually make a run for it as well and slip into that, which would be an unreal outcome for them, considering the way that they started their season off. If they manage to get Tino and AJ back into that squad, they are going to be so dangerous. So I'm very excited to see. If they don't make the finals this year, I think they've still, ended the season quite well, and it'd be good to see what they do next year. Next game, we got Eels versus Penrith. Eels $6 underdogs, while Penrith $1.13 favourites. That is brutal. Considering as well the Eels have such a good track record against Penrith. Penrith, they did beat them last time though, and no Mitch Moses, like we've been saying, that is a massive out. Snagged the win over the Warriors, but yeah, no, you got to go Penrith with this one. I'm going to go 1 to 12. I think the Eels are going to turn up though. They just love to absolutely turn up for this game and make life hard for Penrith. Still a few outs though. No Edwards. I think he's out for potentially another week. No Fisher Harris. Edwards, I think, is a big part of the puzzle that they're missing at this stage. But look at that team. They got that much talent across the park. It's not even funny. And if it comes to worse, Nathan Cleary's just going to pull something out of his ass anyway and get it all done. I think that will be easy. And then, quickly actually jumping back on the last game, I'm going to go Keeney to get over any time as well, try scoring. So, no, season's over, obviously, for the Eels. Penrith are just going to keep on firing at this stage, working out their combinations as well. Week 4, I think, back for Cleary. They're just going to be working on everything, keeping the tightly run ship going. It should be easy running for them, I think, though. So, Penrith, they're going to get it done 1 to 12. First up on the Saturday, we've got the Raiders, the big milk taking on Manly Seagulls. Raiders, they are $2.37 underdogs, while Manly are $1.59. I'm going to be taking Manly 1 to 12, but I'm a little bit unsure on this one, honestly. Raiders at home, obviously, that's always great for them. Tough game that they had against the Doggies. They are looking to get into that top 8 spot, while Sea Eagles as well, they're really trying to hang on there at 7th. I think it's going to be a tough one. I feel like it's going to be relatively low scoring. No massive ins, I'd say, for either team at this point. I guess Zach Hoskin, he is out. I think Manly are going to be in this for revenge, though. The last time they played was extremely disappointing for them. They were winning by a fair margin at half time, but Ricky's Raiders managed to rally and come back and beat them 26 to 24. Prior to that, Seagulls gave them an absolute touch up. So, I think, Seagulls are going to be looking to put them away big time, I think. But I think it's going to be tough. Canberra always hard to beat at home. They like to make it gritty and grindy. But the backline for the Seagulls, they've just got so many points in them, so much experience as well in the halves. So, I think they're going to be able to get it done without too many dramas, but still have a bit of a slog. The next game just scares me, to be completely honest. Broncos versus Cowboys up at Townsville. Cowboys are $1.44 favourites, while Broncos are $2.81. I keep forgetting to say, I think Tommy Trbojevic is going to trot over the line at any time in the previous game. So, Broncos finally slip into underdog territory, and I'd love to confidently say that we're going to go out there and pump the Cowboys. I've got to back them, and I'm never not going to back Broncos. Now, this is where I'm going to give my bias pick what actually I think, I guess, for this one. So, Broncos, I'm going to go 1 to 12. purely because if everything clicks in attack, we could really worry the Cowboys. But Cowboys should probably be winning this one. They're sitting in sixth. They've been on a bit of a streak. They've got points in them, and Broncos defense, Lord knows that hasn't been great recently. So there is a world where either of these teams absolutely pump the other one. So we'll have to see how that goes. Massive outside, obviously, for Brisbane, like I chatted about before. So Ezra and Payne House, they're gone for the season. Broncos, 1 out of the last 5, while Cowboys are 4 out of the last 5. Broncos, though, have been able to beat the Cowboys, I think, in their last 3 or 4 games against them. So there is hope there. Hopefully they're fired up as well, the Broncos, and worked on some massive mistakes over the weekend, defensively in particular. So if we're able to turn up in defence, the attack can just take care of itself. Obviously you've got some freaks out there that can, single-handedly change games, and your Reece Walsh, your Stags, your Mariner, guys like them. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But Cowboys, they just have been so consistent, and if Broncos defend anything like they did in the last few weeks, we're going to be in some serious trouble, especially out wide as well. Oatsy, he has been moved on into reserves. He's just been too slow against some of these attacks, but I wouldn't say it's the most blistering attack out on the edges compared to some of the other teams that we've played, but the Cowboys, wingers and their backline have a ridiculous amount of ability to score points in them. It is going to be worrying, I think, particularly down that left hand side. Tommy Dearden running through with Val Holmes and Talangi. That is dangerous. So we'll see how it goes. I really hope the boys can turn up for this one. Cows have done a really cool thing as well. Retired Carl Webb's number for this one. They're wearing the old retro jersey as well. So keep an eye out for that one. That's going to be a good one. I am worried about this one as a Broncos fan, that I'm not going to lie. Next game, this is an absolute doozy. We got Dragons versus Bulldogs. Wow, I really keep forgetting to say as well. I'm going to go with Dearden to get over. Yeah, Dragons, Bulldogs, at home for Dragons, $2.27 underdogs, while doggies are $1.64. Now, since the Broncos aren't going to be making the finals pretty much at this stage, I am going to be picking my horse in this race, and it is going to be the doggies as well. Yeah, I like an underdog. I like the prophecy for them to win after every 10 years. So, yeah, we're going to get around that. But, yeah, this should be an interesting game. Flano, he has pulled a big ambush on Storm last week. But the only thing concerning for the Dragons is they literally go win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. And they are up to the loss part. So I'm going to go Bulldogs 1-12. I think it's going to be a close grind. Both of these teams have a lot of talent. If the Dragons turn up anything like they did last week, they have every chance. But doggies, they're just on fire. They just can't miss at the moment. They're just getting more and more confidence, more players coming back in, their attacks getting better. They're just turning up. The fans are just all behind them. It's insane what they're doing at the moment, the Dogs. And who would have ever thought that either of these teams would have been in the top 8 at this stage, sitting in 5th and 8, honestly. It is a massive improvement. So, you're probably looking at both of the coaches that are in running for Coaches of the Year. Huge turnaround for both of the clubs. A lot of the fans that have stayed loyal to them are finally having dividends paid for them. So, it's exciting stuff. You love seeing, the crowds and the fans turn up for these teams as well, almost like the Warriors last year. You're almost seeing that in the Bulldogs this year. Everyone wants to be about the doggies and on the doggies. So, it should be a good game. It'll be an interesting battle. You got guys like Sully and Crichton coming up against each other. Zach Lomax out on the wing with some of the other guys as well. It is going to be a tough one in there, but I think Dogs, they should be able to get it done. Alrighty, so first game on the Sunday, we got Dolphins versus the Warriors. This one is at Suncorp Stadium. Dolphins are $1.39 favourites, while the Warriors are $3 and 2 underdogs. I'm going to go Dolphins 1-12 on this one. I really do want to go the Warriors just for Shaun Johnson finishing up, but nah. I think Dolphins, they have been unlucky, I'd say, the last couple of weeks. Come so close against the Roosters as well, which is just one of the top performing clubs in this season. So I think Uncle Wayne is going to have them absolutely fired up at home. But the last time I think they played at home, they duped me. But I think they'll be able to get it over the Warriors. The Warriors are just, they're just not quite the same as they were last year. I think they've run into very much the same issue as the Broncos. They're kind of just going back to the same well with the same plays, and I think teams have done a lot of study on them to shut down those players. So a lot of it, like fourth, fifth tackle, Shaun Johnson's going to take it right, looking for Watene Zelezniak, and yeah, people just rushing him, shutting it down. Almost like Broncos, Reece Walsh, he sweeps around generally to the left-hand side. Players are just rushing up and shutting him down straight away. And yeah, that's kind of what they've got at this stage. They've figured out. So it'll be interesting. I think Warriors will go a little bit better next year when they kind of are going to have to be forced to change things up. But, the Dolphins have just been so solid, but they're really fighting for something as well. They're sitting in ninth. They've slipped out of the eight as well after being in there pretty much the entire season. We could either see them just keep sliding out, or they can fight their way back in there, and they really need to stand up against the Warriors. If the hammer turns up, he could single-handedly turn this game on its head. But they got just great strike across the park as well. Their forwards have been firing. Max Plath has been having a hell of a time, even in hooker. He is just, one to watch moving forward for sure. But no, I think they're going to be more than enough to get it done over the Warriors. Last game though, we got Knights versus the West Tigers. Knights are $1.29 favourites, while the West Tigers are $3.66. I'm gonna go to the Knights 1-12, but I'm honestly really not confident about this. I could see the Tigers being able to snag a game like this against the Knights. I think the Knights, let me have a look. So they've beaten them in the last two times that they've played. Both of them really not in great form. Obviously, Tigers, they've lost about 5 out of their last 5, and Knights, they've only won 2 of their last 5 as well, and that was a couple of weeks ago now. So they're both absolutely desperate for a win. I'm almost tempted to go Tigers. Honestly, it might be time for them to jag one, but Knights still got a little bit to play for as well. It will be interesting. A real battle of the fullbacks as well, with Kalen Ponga coming up against Jareem Buller. Who did the Knights name? Okay, so they're going with Gamble and Crossland again. That's interesting. We get Caesar back as well. Yeah, oh God, I really do want to go with the Tigers. But I think Knights will get it done. Kalen Ponga really needs to turn up for them. If Kalen Ponga turns up, I think they're going to be able to get it done, but it will be interesting. Yeah, I think the forwards in particular for the Knights are going to be able to turn this one. They are a big physical pack. I think they're going to be able to really get things moving. If they can link up with Callum Ponga, like I was saying, they should be sweet. So anyway, moving on to the tip of the week. So this time, I'm going to go with Keanu Keeney to get over any time. He's been absolutely electric for the Titans the last few weeks, so I think he's going to be crossing the line. I think Nathan Cleary as well. He's scored the last few weeks. I'm just kind of getting on a horse that's already winning. He's been so clutch for Penrith the last few weeks. I think he's got it in him to cross the line again. And then this one, just because I got him, I'm going to go Shaun Johnson to get over. Obviously announced his retirement, so I'm backing him all the way. Anyway, that's pretty much it for round 23. Like I said, let us know in the comments who you're going to be backing. I'll catch you next week and have a good one.